Tim Anderson, it looks like Wall Street has clouds in its coffee with Amazon and Starbucks reporting later today.
Well, look, we are in a 3-day stretch, probably the heaviest earnings reporting 3-day stretch we'll have all earnings season. And although the market averages have been very stable up until maybe this morning because of Triple M, there's been plenty of volatility on individual stock names. You've got Microsoft and Facebook reported last night. They both got good bumps. Norfolk and Southern traded to an all-time high yesterday after their earnings. And now, of course, on the downside today, you have Triple M kind of laying a little bit of a bomb, and the stock's down a little bit over 15%. And that is a big weight on the Dow Jones Industrial Average.
It sure is. And Microsoft entered the 1 trillion club. That's amazing. They did great with their cloud computing services. Same expectations are for Amazon. The cloud ETF hit a 52-week high. Is that the trend?
Well, look, I think that the cloud and the web services businesses and web hosting is still a growth business potentially for a lot of places. And I think that Amazon has clearly been using that to fuel a lot of their other businesses that they're in that might be just on the margin of being profitable. And I think you will see other companies maybe start to compete a little bit more with Amazon in that space, as maybe Microsoft is trying to right now. Clearly, the expectations for Amazon are a little enthusiastic tonight. The stock has rallied 12 to 13% in the last 6 weeks. So they better, have a good report.
Meanwhile, they pulled out of China. I wonder if they'll mention any of that tonight. While Starbucks is thriving there, but Starbucks is facing a lot of competition. So is there more to the story, the China story?
Well, I think that with the Shanghai Composite being up over 25% year to date, it certainly would leave us to believe that investors feel a lot of the downside to the Chinese economy is behind us. The People's Bank of China has done one easing measure so far where they've lowered reserve requirements. It's very possible they might do a couple more. And, of course, the negotiation of the resolution of the trade negotiations would be a big plus also.
Of course. And sticking with the coffee, I saw a tweet saying that if oil prices continue to go so high and gas prices do, someone's going to have to start drinking a lot of coffee to get around. Actually, I think they used another vice, but it's all from the same country. What are your expectations with oil?
Well, now when we talk about single stock volatility, clearly Occidental Petroleum threw a whole nother curveball with their bid for Anadarko, and Anadarko rallied 10% yesterday. We haven't seen a real bidding war in the oil patch for maybe 10 to 15 years. I don't know if that's going to spill over into other names or not. And I think that the Chevron Occidental fight for Anadarko maybe still has a couple of more moves in it. Oil is, Brent crude's up and around into the low 70s. West Texas is 65, 66. If we remember back to last September, oil got up very close to 80. People were talking it was going to 100. It didn't. It went back down. Clearly it had a pop a few days ago up the story that we're taking away the relief from sanctions from people buying Iranian oil. I do think that the Saudis have some capacity that's not online yet. And I think that we probably have some capacity that's not online yet.
What do you mean by capacity?
Capacity to produce more oil. So I don't see prices going north of $80.
Okay. Meanwhile, the stronger dollar is wreaking some havoc on the commodities. Some commodities, not gold today. Will that be trouble for equities?
Well, typically would be. Historically, a strong dollar has always made it a little bit more challenging environment for U.S. equities. But I think the other side of that equation right now is that our interest rates, in terms of the 10-year note, is yielding between 2.5 and 2.6, depending on what day you look at it, and the German 10-year is zero, and the Japanese are slightly a few basis points in the negative side. So our interest rates are still higher than most of the planet, and that gives good support to the dollar.
Well, that is an interesting point, Tim. By the way, thank you for prepping us. I love reading your notes, your morning and afternoon notes. That was really great. Definitely helped me prep for this interview.
Well, you're very welcome, and it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Yes, great to catch you on the floor. Have a great weekend, Tim.
You too.